not a number that I'm not acquainted with. The FBI hates me because I'm so fucking right all the time, to be honest with you. That's what they fucking hate. Don't never do a fucking live stream about crooked FBI agents. Swear to God, you're going to make about 15 of them your fucking enemy right there on the spot. I don't give a fuck. Fuck them. They're crooked. They need to be called out. That's what I say.
Thank you for contacting the Abby and Libby tip line. Investigators can't take your call this time. Please provide your name, contact information, and your tip after the beep. Provide as much information as you possibly can. For example, the name of the person of interest, their date of birth or approximate age, physical description, address, vehicle information, why they could be involved, and if they have a
Shut the fuck up already. God damn. Hey, your recordings are way too long, guys. I think you know that. But okay, I think you tried to shorten them a little bit, so I'll give you a little credit there. Of course, I'm calling about the Delphi case and this John Taylor. He probably is your number one suspect because he raped his first cousin when she was 16 years old back 45 years ago when he was 27. She never reported it. You might want to look into that. The guy's a real piece of shit scumbag. He beat his original wife. That's on file. He beat his current wife. I can prove that on my live streams. He's even admitted to it. The guy's a real piece of shit. He's also suicidal, puts a gun to his head almost every fucking night because he's a stupid drunk. But I will verify that he should be one of your main suspects, if not your number one suspect. And since it is where the crime is where it's at, there was a guy named Robert DeHaven, but that's not his real fucking name. That was a bullshit name. He was telling everybody that it was his name, but that's not his real name. Hold on a minute. His real name is, last name is Robert H. Beinert. He goes by Wits In on Discord, and everybody knows him as a full-fledged piece of trash, if you know what I'm saying. He lives in Douglasville, PA, but he was saying that he was Robert DeHaven from Fort Wayne, Indiana, but everybody knows that was bullshit. And it took me a while to find this guy, but I found him. There it is. That's your other prime suspect. You know, there was a number 2 suspect in those murders, right? Yeah, I read it, so I know. And also, there's another drover by the name of, these guys run together, by the way, so it could be one of these other 2 guys. He goes by Dumpster Rick. It's Richard McMurray is his name, and you have to call me to get his information because I don't have it pulled up in front of me at the moment. And I'll tell you, but I wouldn't suspect him so much because he's a Tennessee boy, as I would suspect this fucking drover that lives in Virginia Beach, Virginia, and his name is Harry Brogan. And of course, he just had a good bit of his record expunged. I was doing a documentary on him, and I stopped. That video is still up on my deal. You can find it on YouTube about him, where I suspected he killed a man, stole his car, drove it to California. That case has never been solved. And on the exact dates that he lost his job and ended up in California living at his sister's house in California. There's your prime suspect in that fucking murder. So he would be probably a more likely suspect since he's already a suspect in another fucking murder. And I did report that, by the way. So you got 2 main suspects. This Robert, what's his fucking name? Benert, I guess you call him Ben Fart, whatever the fuck you want to call him. And this Harry Bitch. I call him Harry Brogan, okay? Well, I call him Harry Bitch. His name is Harry Brogan. He is a bitch, by the way. They're all little sissy bitches. They won't face a man face to face. They're cowards. Every one of them are cowards. Sawed-off, pussy-ass cowards. Prime suspects to go around killing people and then covering up for each other. And you know that this John, he's just like the guy who called in onto that reporter and is a suspect in the Delphi murders. This guy's a prime suspect. He's kind of a short guy with a really big head, and he's been a drunk his entire life. He's got over 20 running the red light tickets. I'm sure you know. You probably looked up. You probably know more about him than I do. I would like the name of another murder, though, that also Rob DeHaven is a suspect. I'm checking into right now. And the death and investigation of this individual here, who was it was considered suicide, and this fucking shit went down in a different place in Pennsylvania, which is where this Robert Benart lives, right? And I don't know the name of this guy's wife. I would like for you to provide that to me if you could. Otherwise, I'll find it eventually. I guarantee it. You can't stop me. Nobody can stop me. But this guy was found hung from a tree in Pennsylvania. And if you call me, I'll give you his name and all that information. But this Robert Benart was dating her while she was married to this guy, which means the police did not have that information when he was found hung from a tree, and they do not have him as a suspect. But how is that she never told them about having sex with this guy while she was married to the guy that supposedly committed suicide? Isn't that odd? That information was never brought to light.
Goodbye.
Okay, well, that's enough said. So they'll call me back. Oh, they'll always call you back, especially when you mouth off like I do, right? Oh, don't worry, Rob. That fucking murder out there that Christina said her husband hung himself with a rope, it wasn't a rope. It was not a rope. She lied about that in Kermit and Friends Discord. Right straight up to Alicia Jordana and everybody else. She fucking lied. It was not a rope. It was a fucking cord, an extension cord, a really long one that he used to hang himself. I don't know about you guys, but I have never, ever heard of a man commit suicide in this way. It's always a rope that is used. They don't go get a shirt and tie it to a tree and hang themselves. It's a fucking murder. They don't use their belt. That's a murder. They don't use a fucking extension cord. That's a fucking murder. Who the fuck would go purchase an expensive extension cord like that when you get a cheap piece of rope for $1 and hang yourself? Think about it. You know how much those extension cords cost versus a rope? I mean, you're not going to tell me he just had this laying around his house. Shut the fuck up. So I'm on to you, Rob. You are a murderer. You helped Fireman John in the Delphi murders of those two women. You raped them and you fucking murdered them. And then you also helped Christina murder her fucking husband for her insurance money. And that's where you got the money to purchase into these fucking houses you purchased into with these two women. Two different women at that. Isn't that odd? And I'm curious as to even if there was murders on their end. I'm going to have to contact these women and ask them. I'm going to have to contact them and ask them, Rob. So this is getting very interesting, guys. Don't go away because I got more people that I'm going to contact right now. I'm not wasting time on contacting these people. We're going to contact these people and we're going to ask them about these fucking murders.